easily top three. Jon Jones, Islam Makhachev, Alex Pereira. Those sharp elbows that he's known for is to get some vicious ground and pound off. I think it's a great opportunity for both these guys to make a huge bag, well-deserved, and on top of it, give Poatan an opportunity to become a 3-divisional champion, which is unheard of.
On your mind about a double, it's the weekly scraps. You don't need a map, GPS, I'm right here to lead a dash. Right. The world doesn't know it needs, but I wrote the seas, planted fuck a name and the fame. Only legacy remains.
What's up, guys? Now, a lot of people are speculating what would happen if Alex Pereira moved up to heavyweight. Yes, heavyweight to become a 3-divisional champ. Now, is that possible with a guy like Jon Jones sitting at the helm and a guy like Tom Aspinall sitting at the helm? I don't know. That's a tough one to pick between outside of the wrestling department. Now, what makes this matchup interesting to me is the gains that Alex Pereira has made in stopping takedowns, keeping all the fights on the feet. I mean, he has been taken down by Yuri, right, in the first fight that they had. But then comes the second round, that starts to weigh on both guys. Yuri's starting to go for the takedown again, but not as cleanly as a guy like Jon Jones would be able to get into the takedowns. Now, Jones is a mastermind in getting to an offensive position and not putting himself in a situation where he could get elbowed, beaten up in that position and taken advantage of, using a lot of his own energy. He's typically clean when he gets in. But an opportunity of a lifetime for Alex Pereira to become a 3-divisional champion, I think is huge for the UFC. Blockbuster numbers, especially for a guy who comes in and his record is not the most elaborate in the sense of the numbers of fights he's had as an MMA fighter, but his kickboxing fights and what he's been able to do in the UFC in such a short amount of time, I don't think anybody can dispute that, argue that at all. Look at the resume. I mean, he's beat a killer's row in my opinion. He's come through for the UFC. To me, it's like, if Jon Jones does come back and he does beat Stipe Miocic in a very tough fight, I mean, it's a big payday for both those guys, but I think we all can see that Jon's probably just going to take him down. Stipe is primarily a boxer, but he does also have some good anti-wrestling as well. But if Jones does get past him, we have a mega fight, possibly history, man. If Alex Pereira could go out there and do the unthinkable and beat a guy like Jon Jones. And I think that's what people are going to tune in to watch. Again, you have Poatan with just these dynamite in his left hand and kryptonite in his right hand. You know what I mean? He just puts people down and sends them. Full send. And to me, I think that's going to make it a very intriguing fight when that does happen. As I think if the stars align, man, we got ourselves something special here. And I don't think Alex Pereira is going to leave any stones unturned. To me, he just rises to the occasion. You put in front of him all these other guys, and he's been able to dispatch people one after the other. Izzy might have beaten him, and then he went up to 205, beat Blachowicz. Now you got a guy like Ankalaev as well. But will the UFC keep Ankalaev away in hopes of protecting a potential fight with Alex Pereira, who was on vacation? Dana called the guy up. He came off of vacation to save the card at 303 and got a big fat bonus, $303,000 on top of that. Insane. If there's anybody who could be the epitome right now of inspiring and just like anything you put your mind to, is a guy like Alex Pereira, man. So I think it's a very great opportunity. We got a lot of good cards coming up, a lot of great matchups coming up. So Jon Jones beats Stipe Miocic. Then you have Alex Pereira sitting on his vacation, relaxing, waiting for that opportunity. He gets the phone call. We have ourselves a super fight, another super fight. Yeah, of course, Conor McGregor is probably the biggest name that we're ever going to have in this lifetime, I would think. But I think if there's anyone who's creeping up on him, it's Alex Pereira and just what he's been able to do, being active. Yes, Jon Jones is that guy and has been that guy, but his inactivity has been what people kind of talk about. Oh, he shouldn't be pound for pound anymore, champ. He shouldn't be the pound for pound number one anymore because he isn't as active. I think there has to be some type of rule or rubric that we're using and going by in the guidelines. You have to have competed at least once in a year. And I think if you're going to use that, then Jon Jones has to be number one. Yes, when he was gone for 3 years, I think at that point it's between Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. Undisputed, one of those two guys. But now that Jon Jones is back in the conversation, I think Jon Jones has to sit back at number one just because of what he's been able to do in his entire run in the UFC, in his entire run in MMA. I don't think anyone has even come close to that. Makhachev is very impressive. Khabib, when he was competing, very impressive. But in terms of activity, in terms of all those other things, when all those guys were around and competing at the same time, Jon Jones is easily, hands down in my opinion, number one. But now you got Alex Pereira, who I think is easily top five. For me, it's got to be Jon Jones, Islam Makhachev. I don't know if Volk drops down that much. Is he three or is Alex Pereira three? In my opinion, Alex Pereira would be three. Volk will probably be like 4 or 5 because I think one loss to Topuria and one to upper weight class after coming off of a really close fight with Islam Makhachev the first time, and then there's circumstances for everything, right? We could sit here and go around each other and go with here, go with that, and we'll never get to an end of the debate. But easily top 3, Jon Jones, Islam Makhachev, Alex Pereira, and somewhere around there, I think it's in the top 5 is Volkanovski still. And when he does come back, we get to see if he still gets to claim a top 5 spot when he rematches Ilia Topuria or if he fights Max Holloway, depending on who wins that fight, right? So a lot of cool things on the horizon. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm a fan, and this is why I enjoy watching this sport because it's just crazy. You just never know what's going to happen. Of course, we know keys to victory. If Poatan were to keep the fight standing with Jon Jones, I think he wins that fight. Hands down. I think he should win that fight. I think, and you know what, let me not discredit Jon. Jon's very unorthodox. The oblique kicks, the front kicks. But Poatan is just one of those guys who just needs one. Jamal Hill's my guy, but even when you see in that where that left hand touches him, it doesn't look like it was like a full-on connection, but it just kind of shows the type of power and the type of sneaky angles that those punches come at. And where if he could land one of those on Jon, I think it makes it a very interesting fight. Now, again, Jon Jones has a crazy arsenal of weapons. Like I said, the oblique kick, the front kick. And he typically only throws like 1 to 2 strikes at a time. He doesn't go in these punches and bunches and these crazy combinations trying to tee off on people. He takes his time. He picks you apart. He dog walks you. And eventually, most guys break or they quit. Few guys have ever seen the judges' scorecard with him. Off the top of my head, Dominic Reyes and Alexander Gustafsson. In 2 fights, arguably, could have gone the other way. Gustafsson won. So with that said, I think that's his keys to victory. And again, Poatan, if he can keep it standing and keep making improvements on the ground. Again, if Jon takes him down, I think he's smart enough to weather the storm, land those shots, those sharp elbows that he's known for, and to get some vicious ground and pound off. But I think it's a great opportunity for both these guys to make a huge bag, well-deserved, and on top of it, give Poatan an opportunity to become a 3-divisional champion, which is unheard of, and I don't think anyone has even come close to doing something like that. And I'm saying, like, given any freebies, like someone who could have just been given an opportunity because of their name. This is Alex Pereira earning it by dispatching everyone who's been in front of him. And on top of that, he's in the position where if he wants to and the stars align, why not give him the shot and see if he can make a run at greatness? You know, so I don't think anyone is going to disagree with that. And if you don't agree with that, who would you rather see Alex Pereira fight in terms of the biggest fights that you could make? Yes, you could say the merit, he should be fighting the other guys in his weight class. Yes. I've been in that position and I know how the game goes. It just doesn't work like that. The UFC is going to make the biggest fights that they can make. And I think that's the biggest fight that they can make. If you think there's a bigger fight in that division for either one of those guys, let me know. Of course, Tom Aspinall, he's there. And of course, you have Ankalaev, he's there as well for Pereira, respectively. So it just really depends what the UFC wants to do. Are they going to, for once, go by the rankings? Or are they going to skip the line and jump around and make some crazy shit happen and give the biggest fights from both divisions and make a blockbuster fight? In my opinion, I think the UFC is going to do just that. So with that said, I'm looking forward to it, and I would love to watch the hell out of that. Just because you just don't know. Can Alex Pereira land that haymaker? Or will Jon Jones just take him down, finish him in round 1, round 2? Or will it go to a judge's decision? You just never know. With that said, we're going to pivot. Now, announcement for me, nothing much has changed on my end of things, but I see Movsar Evloev talking on Twitter. I don't know if it's him. It might be his manager. Who knows? But you see him talking on Twitter. When Diego Lopez was calling this man out multiple times before he fought Dan Ige, when he was supposed to fight Brian Ortega, crickets, didn't want anything to do with him. And see, I think that's the difference between a guy like him and myself. And maybe it's not the smartest thing. I can say that. It's probably not the smartest thing, and maybe my own ego gets in my way sometimes when it comes to being a competitor. The competitive ego, instead of picking the right fights, the smartest fights. And I think when I say that, it makes me realize that, yeah, I should be picking the fight with Movsar Evloev. That is the fight I wanted. That is the fight I called for when I realized I was not going to get the Brian Ortega fight. When I was told I was not going to get the Brian Ortega fight. So I said, who's the next best guy? Who's available? Movsar Evloev. I said I'll be ready September. Literally in the interviews right after my fight with Calvin Kattar, this guy starts talking about fighting in June and July and August. I'm like, bro, I already told you I'm on vacation right now. I got to heal up some things, and I got to take care of some family business. And I think anyone who's an athlete can understand that. I'm not jumping right back into the fire just to have my life be in a tornado the whole time. So with that said, if Movsar wants to fight, we could do it in September. If not, give me Brian Ortega, give me Yair Rodriguez, give me Diego Lopez. I would love to fight any one of those guys at the spear, and I think it's a great opportunity for all of us. I think it puts us all in a great position, and maybe it's not going to be a clear-cut title eliminator, but we got to fight, and someone has to make a name for themselves and prove that they're the next guy in line. So why not have some of the best guys going after it and seeing who's going to be that guy to clear their name and put their name forward in front of all the names in the hat. That's just the way I operate. I always try to fight the best, the baddest guys that they can give me. So if it's Movsar, what's up? If it's Diego Lopez, what's up? If it's Brian Ortega, what's up? Yair Rodriguez, what's up? You know? So that's what it is. Coming up in a few weeks, we got the Funk Harbor release. These are the new bottles. So I hope you guys get an opportunity to order it. We don't have distribution in the international countries just yet. I probably should have thought about that before I imported everything over to the States. But it is what it is. We're here now, so we're going to have to make it work. And then for the next rollout of the white rum and the lightly aged rum, we'll be able to get distribution all over the world. But we got to pick the markets that make the most sense coming out the gate. So that's kind of the game plan right now. And I'm excited for you guys to try this, man, because I'm having a great time having people try this and getting all their reviews. And so far, so good. Even for the people who don't drink rum, they typically drink tequila. I'm converting them one by one. So hopefully this is going to be the next drink of choice when you're out with your friends and whatnot. Or even when you're at a club. We got a good card here coming up with Rose Namajunas, Tracy Cortez. She steps up to fight Rose. And who was Rose? Rose was supposed to fight originally Macy Barber. She pulled out. She was having some issues. Rose is coming off a win over Amanda Hebas, unanimous decision. And Tracy Cortez, who is 11-1. She's coming off of a win over Jasmine. I can't even say her name. Not even going to try. But that was back in 2023 of September. So she's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. In the UFC, she's undefeated in the UFC. I thought she lost a fight recently. But she's undefeated in the UFC. So this is a big opportunity for both these females. And this is at flyweight. 125, so let's see how this one goes. A couple other good names on this. Drew Dober versus Gene Silva, who just fought Miss Weight. He was a featherweight. I don't know if this one's going to be at featherweight or if it's going to be at 155 because Drew Dober can't make 145. So logically, This has to be at 55. So from what I understand, this is a 155-pound bout. He missed weight by like 4 pounds or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, against Charles Jourdain, which is kind of shitty. Because I don't know if this guy ever made featherweight. Where is it? Where is it? I need to see this one for myself because I forget how much he missed weight by. Doesn't say. Doesn't say. Come on, topology. All right, doesn't say. But some good fights coming up on this card. This guy looked like a beast against Jourdain, which I was very, very impressed by. Because Jourdain is a really good high-level kickboxer, and I just didn't think it was going to go that way. Bonfim is on this card, taking on Losa. Christian Rodriguez is taking on Julian Erosa. That's a big fight. Now, Christian Rodriguez is known as the prospect killer. The good thing is Julian is not a prospect. Julian's been one of those guys who's been around and fought the who's of the division. Been in the UFC twice now. Came back, beat Sean Woodson on short notice, and submitted him in the 3rd round. So he is a dog coming off a win over Ricardo Ramos. I'm looking forward to this. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Rodriguez is on a 4-fight win streak. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff happening for both these guys. This is going to be a very interesting fight. Charles Johnson versus Joshua Vinn. And this girl, Fatima Klein, taking on Jasmine Jassa. I'm not going to say her name. But Fatima, 6-0. She is going to shock the world. I think she is highly touted, highly rated, highly skilled. And I can't wait. She's, I think, friends or partners with Aaron Blanchfield. But I'm not sure what they are. But with that said, she is very technical and clean. Great jiu-jitsu. I think her striking, from what I hear and what I've seen, has been pretty good. And I've seen it, just not like in multiple fights. She was the CFFC champ. She won her last one by unanimous decision, won a grappling match. The other one before that, she got a TKO in the 3rd round. So I think some good stuff all in all. Montel Jackson taking on Damon Blackshear. So all in all, good fights. So I'm excited for this. Can't wait. Again, we got a couple things on the horizon. August 1st, the launch of Funk Harbor, online sales, and we should have it in a couple stores here in New York, California, probably SoCal. We're probably looking to come to Florida as well, to start there as well. And hopefully we can get some distribution in Vegas. So with that said, I'll talk to you guys later. Stay blessed. See you guys soon. Peace.